So Susie, from an attorney's perspective, what qualities or questions might you advise your clients to ask when they are seeking out a realtor to sell their loved one's home?
Sure. The main qualities I see that realtors who are dealing with probate should have is an understanding of, first of all, the family dynamics, of understanding what grieving people are going through and how that can manifest itself, because realtors often will take the brunt of that and feel caught in the middle. And I think it's very important for the realtor to know what their role is and who the person is that is their client. And who they are representing in that transaction, because a lot of times different family members will want to insert themselves. So I think having experience and understanding what the legal authority is and what it means for the person they're representing, also understanding the nature of the property that they're selling, and also understanding the market, and also realizing that the personal representative is under an obligation to maximize the value of the estate. So they have to sell that for the maximum amount possible, you know, within reason. The other thing that's really important is for a realtor who documents well, because oftentimes if we are dealing with a probate where we know the personal representative is going to have to lower the price significantly, and we know there's going to be unhappy beneficiaries of that estate, we want the realtor to be able to document the reasons why for the decrease in that property value. And sometimes we might even want to get a court order to validate that realtor's opinion. And so the realtor is a really key component to the probate process, especially when we're talking about families and folks that might not agree on things like the value of the property, because a lot of times families think that the property is worth a lot more money than it really is. And you get to be the bearer of bad news as the realtor. I think the other qualities that are important is understanding the timelines, and also understanding, you know, there may be reporting requirements that the personal representative or their counsel have to the court. These are unique situations. I would say selling an estate property is not a run-of-the-mill experience. And at the same time, for a realtor who's working with someone who is a guardian or a conservator for someone and knows that this person is still living in the home and is going to have to move, has an understanding of what that transition process looks like, how difficult it is, timelines, and all of those facets, and also is on the lookout for fraud, and is keyed in to, again, who has real authority to make certain decisions, sign documents, etc., and that there aren't things going on that shouldn't be.
Are there any red flags that you see in a scenario like that with, you know, a realtor? You know, maybe somebody decided to hire the family friend and they've been a realtor for years. Are there any red flags that you see throughout the process of maybe perhaps the realtor's not asking you the right questions or asking the family the right questions? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say the number one red flag that I've seen is realtors that want mom or dad to sign the listing agreement, and they're under a guardianship and conservatorship, and they don't even understand the, you know, why mom and dad are under a guardianship or conservatorship, or they are the family friend and they're listening to their friend instead of listening to the personal representative of the estate, or listening to the conservator as to the value or the condition of the home. And that will often, believe it or not, create a lot of litigation. The choice of realtor oftentimes is one of the biggest hot button issues in a probate matter. And that can be the cause for thousands of dollars of litigation in and of itself. So we always try to recommend folks that we know are experienced in the probate area and often are neutral to the situation, just to avoid any, you know, allegations by different parties. I think someone like you is extremely important to have in cases where there's a probate, because of your background in adult protection and your understanding of at-risk adults, and making sure that they are protected through a process like this, and that also you have the legal background in working in the court process to understand what legal documents people need to have in place in order to sell a property that may be subject to the probate court or to the probate process. And so I think that's extremely important.
Yeah. Well, great, Susie. Thanks for sitting down with me and kind of talking through, bird's eye view, what the probate process looks like in common scenarios. How might somebody get in touch with you if they live here in Colorado and they are going through this exact scenario right now?
Sure. Well, they can always contact us online through our website, the Germany law firm. They can also call our office, obviously, and they're always welcome to set up an appointment. And, we frequently run through a lot of these things in our initial consultation with folks.
Great, great. It is much more of an in-depth process, so I think we've only touched on bits and pieces of it today, but I would totally advise somebody to really get some further information from an attorney just such as yourself. So thanks so much for meeting with me today and kind of talking through that process. Is really helpful.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.